All right, we are live with Jackson Gunas and Paul Rana in the Roddy's broadcast studios across the state of Texas. We are here today to start to talk about the auction that's coming up in 4 or 5 days, Paul. Is that right?
Tuesday, September 1st. It's coming up. Yes, sir.
Awesome. So we are going to give people a little bit of time to get connected. Got a lot of people streaming in right now. We will give some people some time to get connected across YouTube and Facebook. If you are listening to us now, let us know where you are from and what auction you are going to be attending on Super Tuesday. But Paul, I guess while we're waiting for people to trickle in and get in here, Paul, why don't you let us talk about your background, what you do for Roddy's, and kind of how you got here.
Sure. Thanks for the introduction, Curtis. So I've been working in the mortgage industry since about 2006. Started off as a loan origination officer, did underwriting for a major loan originator. And when the market crashed in 2007, I pivoted to foreclosures and started going to auction. And it was just really exciting to be out of the office and out in the action, seeing people bidding live, the competition going on, just the energy in the area. Did that for 10 years, and then I started working with Roddy full time, and I helped us scale up to 240 counties about.
Yep.
We're doing foreclosure lists in now. So I manage all of our data, I manage all of our auction teams, our title research, and we have a big operation going here nowadays.
Awesome. Yeah, no, we've scaled the company pretty significantly in the last couple of years, in a large part thanks to Paul's help. I mean, everybody knows who Jack is. I think if I put Jack's name on the webinar, we get a lot more people that attend. So Jack, probably not much introduction needed for you, but can you, for the people who somehow don't know you, can you give your introduction?
Yeah, I'm a Texas realtor. I am also experienced in going to foreclosure auctions, and I usually work with a customer success team here at Roddy's, making sure that the people who get our lists know how to use them and are successful with them and buying properties.
Oh, man, what a succinct introduction. Love it. All right, well, we are here to talk about the foreclosure auction. We are excited about the auction that's going to take place next Tuesday. Man, last auction on August 4th was, for me, it was like I finally came alive. Like the auction started.
Wow.
We had crowds. Thanks, Jack. I like the enthusiasm there. But we had some crowds. I mean, honestly, in North Texas, at some of the counties I go to, first time in a while that we had crowds like that. So that's exciting. I'm excited to see if that keeps up for this month. But anyways, we're here today to talk about getting ready for the foreclosure auction. I know a lot of people that are watching right now are first time going to the auction for the first time. Jack gets a lot of questions when he's talking to our members about what the auction process is like. And I thought, well, nobody better than Paul Rana to get on the webinar and to talk about what that is like. So Paul, let's say, all right, auction is next Tuesday.
Super Tuesday.
4 or 5 days away. I still haven't decided. What do we need to do to be getting ready for the auction? What's that final step, right? So we're coming up on, finalizing the list, all the other stuff. What do people need to do to get ready and just kind of finalize or lock in that property list?
The first thing I would suggest to people is to check out our most recent live updates. You're going to use that to help trim your properties. And those live updates, they show if properties are still pending. They show if we have opening scheduled bids. They show properties that are canceled. And if canceled, then you don't need to do the next couple steps on that specific property. It'll save you time and money.
That is a really good point, Paul. We just got a big batch of live updates from a couple of trustees that we work with. Paul got them entered this morning. I got a bunch entered. I mean, there were stuff that we were going to drive this weekend that we took off the list because the trustees updated and said it was canceled. So I'd really implore you guys to, before you drive this weekend and make that final list or order title, check out the live updates. At this point, I check every single day because we're updating stuff daily as we get stuff in. We're like, as soon as we get the data in or the list from the trustees in, we are updating our website. So if you guys have questions about live updates, we've done webinars in the past talking about it. Aaron and I have actually gone and pulled up different properties to show you both in PropHawk and in a foreclosure list where those are. But Jack, the customer service success specialist, is always willing to help you. And if you shoot him an email, jack@flsonline.com, or call us up at 972-250-0993, he will be happy to help you with that. So that's a little plug for that. We're trying to provide more value for everybody. All right, so live updates. So we've checked live updates. What's next?
Then you want to trim down that list. You've already have your list trimmed from your live updates. You've looked at the properties you're most interested in. You want to make sure you do your drive reports and make sure the property is in the condition you're looking for. Make sure it's still there, right? That hasn't burned down. Take pictures of the property. Make an assessment of what it might need for a rehab if that's your strategy. So your drive reports, your title reports, you need to get that in immediately. Get those titles ordered or start doing the title research yourself right now. And then with those together, make your comps. Start doing your comparison with properties in the neighborhood and what you're going to estimate the value of that property for.
Yeah, and so I don't know if I'd call it controversy, but there's a lot of discussion about like the order you do that in, right? It's like, and I don't think anybody's going to agree, but I do drives, then title. I do comps, then drives, then title. Right. I think for me, I enjoy doing the comps. It's quicker for me. The drives, my whole family gets involved in that, so that's kind of a family thing for us. And then title is probably the thing that I put off to the last minute. I would definitely not suggest doing that, but that's kind of my order. I think we got a lot of people that like to do their title first, and then their comps, and then their drives last, because the drives, if you're going to do your own title, you can, in theory, do it for free. We have a video in our video vault from the summit we did last month where we talked about how to do research on your own. You can obviously order title reviews from RoddyTitle.com, and drives are kind of the money that takes the most time. You got to drive and then spend money on gas or hire somebody to do it. So all right, so anything else to talk about before the auction? I mean, before, let's just say till Sunday at midnight.
Till Sunday at midnight.
Yeah.
You want to ideally have all those things done,
Yeah.
but then you're again going to want to check those live updates on Monday.
Yeah.
Because Monday's our last time to do it. And we get a lot of bids in that day, a lot of final bids, and that's going to help you decide if you're deciding between going to, let's say, Travis or Williamson. That might be the deciding factor on which properties have bids available or how high those bids might be.
Yep.
Or you decide I'm going to go to Travis at 10 a.m. and go to Williamson at 1 p.m. So that's going to be your last strategy at the very end, and Monday afternoon, is to check those live updates.
Yeah. Yeah. And Paul and myself will be working on the weekend trying to get those live updates for you. So we're always excited. I get excited when we get more updates from trustees, because it's fun to see like what those actually opening bids are. We start getting more. We have a lot of trustees that will say, yes, this is still pending, and it'll be pending, say, 2 weeks ago. But now, just today, we did a bunch of updates, and we got opening bids, credit bids, that type of thing. So again, I check daily if you're planning on going to auction, and I think it'll help you out. All right, so let's talk about, we've got our drive list done. We've finished our drives. We've got like 30 properties in Bexar County that we are going to go bid on. What is next?
As far as on Tuesday or
say it's Monday, day before, right? Prep day. A lot of people are I think a lot of people forget about, like, we spend a lot of time prepping the property list. Like I gotta dial in my max bid. I gotta dial in the property condition, all that stuff. Then you get to auction, you're like, oh darn, I don't have cashier's checks, or where do I park, or
so there is still a lot to do Monday morning, right? Or Monday afternoon. You want to make sure you get all the cashier's checks you need in various denominations. We suggest varying denominations from maybe 20,000, 10,000 down to 5,000. And those cashier checks are made out to yourself. And then if and when you win a property, you'll sign those over to the trustee, to whatever bank they want that to be assigned over to. So you want to make sure you have those cashier's checks ready in hand. You want to have all your lists printed out and with your FLS ID numbers on the left-hand column. Lists are designed for that. You want to make sure you have those FLS ID numbers so that when you show up Tuesday, you can utilize our services, our on-site auction auction assistants, to call out those numbers so you don't miss properties. You want to have your clipboards ready, your pens. If you bring a folding chair, those kinds of things, water ready, some snacks, because you don't want to think about taking a lunch break. You might miss something.
Yep.
So have all those things ready Monday night. I pack my car Monday night before we go to bed with all that stuff.
That's a good point. I think the last thing, I'll skip back to today or tomorrow is if you are planning on attending the sheriff's auction, so that's going to be the auction for tax sales or judgments, make sure, check in with your county, make sure that you do not have to pre-register. Most counties require that you pre-register and get cleared on your personal property taxes. So Collin County, where I live, I have to go register at least the day before, and they give me a little certificate that says Curtis Roddy does not owe any taxes in Collin County. Right, so it's typically free. Sometimes you pay $5 or $10. I know in Travis County you have to do it 7 days in advance, if I remember. It's been a while since I've done it there, and then they send you they send you a list, or they'll send you a certificate actually, and that's good for like 4 months. So it depends on every county, what you do. So anyways, for taxes, again, just make sure that a lot of people get to the sale and they get really pumped up and they got their money and then they can't bid. So if you have questions about that, reach out to Jack. He is always happy to help.
And they can also probably find that through the county property tax, right?
Yeah, a lot of times you can, so you can go check your property taxes, but like I have to go get a certificate it's like an actual certificate from the county, it's either county clerk or we have an Excel list internally that we can check for you. Depends on the office. Sometimes it's the actual constable that's going to do it. But usually it's the county clerk that says yes, or the tax assessor's office that says yes, Paul Rana is not delinquent in taxes. Therefore, he can buy something in Hayes County. So check with Jack if you have questions and you're planning on bidding at the sheriff's sale. Sorry, that was as Jack would say, I went down a little rabbit trail there. But
it's vital.
Paul, so we're getting ready. How do you suggest people, how early do you get to the auction? Where do you, what are you looking for when you get there? It's your first, I guess if it's somebody's first time there, they're probably not going to know what the trustees look like. They're not going to know where to stand, where to sit, all that stuff.
And that's where our on-site auction teams can really help you out. I always suggest people, especially if you're new to a county, to arrive by 9 a.m. Sales will begin right at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
If you arrive by 9, that gives you a buffer. If there's trouble finding parking, if you have trouble finding the county courthouse itself, because some counties it's not actually in the courthouse. Like my first time in Montgomery, it was actually a couple blocks away upstairs inside a building, and I was really lucky that I got there early.
Yeah. Yeah, we won't have, I don't think we're going to have anywhere in Texas bad weather. But I know, I went to Lubbock 3 or 4 months ago, and it was, in February or March, I can't remember, or I guess, it must have been January, February. It was freezing outside. They moved everything inside, right? And it's not like that was on a website or something like that. I just got there early enough, and they had a sign there. So just another thing to look for if you're, another reason to get there early. Obviously another reason is to find your Roddy's team members. We've got some awesome guys and gals at our auctions. They're wearing bright red shirts like Paul has. They say Roddy's on them. Most of the people that have been working these auctions have been going to the auctions for years. I know Sheila in Dallas County has been going to Dallas County for 20, 25 years, and she's an expert in all things Dallas County. She knows exactly when they're going to arrive, where they're going to sit, what they look like. And most of the time people are going to be calling out those trustees as they get there. So find the Roddy's member. ask them, I'd say, hey, my name's Curtis. My first time here. I'm looking for Shelly Ortolani. Do you know where she stands? Just kind of get an idea of what that auction flow is going to look like. So Roddy's member, that's what we're there for. We're there to record the sale, and we're also there to help you out. So any other auction day tips?
And like you said, just make sure you find those Roddy team members. Introduce yourself. Tell them that you're a member. Tell them which trustees you're looking for, even which property numbers. Because what I'll do is I'll circle those property numbers, and when it comes up, I'll make sure that I contact you and make sure to flag you down. You don't miss that property coming up. It's a great extra value service that you get just by being a Roddy's member.
Paul will not let you miss a shit. I mean, he's a kung fu, or is it, what is it?
Martial arts,
martial arts expert. He's going to get your attention.
That's right.
All right. I'm trying to think anything else for the auction that we need to talk about.
Be there, be excited, have your coffee early, and bring those snacks with you, everything that you need. And then utilize our services, utilize our Roddy auction team members. Yeah,
so that's a good opportunity. We talked about service. I'm going to make a plug for Roddy's bidding service. We just kind of informally launched that this month. We haven't sent out any emails, but if you need a Roddy's member to bid for you at the auction because you want to, you're out of state or you want to attend a different auction, reach out to Paul or Jack. We'll put their information we'll put Paul's email address and Jack's email in the comments. Email Paul or Jack and get set up for that. What we'll do is we will actually meet with you ahead of time. We'll get your cashier's checks and we'll bid for you at the auction. A lot of people will use our auction bidding service for one of two reasons. One is they want to go to a different auction or they can't actually attend that auction, right? A lot of people don't want to travel. They're out of state. They don't want to travel to Texas right now. So they'll use our bidding service for that. The other reason is people are just nervous about bidding, right? And a Roddy's member that's going to bid for you has been at the foreclosure auction, like we said, for years. They're going to know what a normal bid cycle looks like. Like I know in my case, the first time I ever bid, I was bidding with my dad and I think I was 18. Auction.com, they do this thing where they open it up real high and then they drop it low and then they start doing like these random increments. And I remember like I did my first bid like at the opening bid, and the guy told me afterwards that actually the credit bid was like $30,000 less than that. A Roddy's team member is going to let you know, or is going to know that. They're going to know for like, hey, for auction.com, we need to be patient. We're not going to be that first bid in there. We're going to be third or fourth in there. They're just going to have that expertise. And it's also hopefully helps make your auction experience a little bit more enjoyable. So Roddy's bidding will help you out with that. I mean, we've personally used it for, because we like to attend multiple auctions, right? So I don't want to just go to Dallas. I want to go to Dallas, Tarrant, Travis, and Bexar County. So if you have questions about bidding services, reach out to Paul or Jack. Information right there. And so we'll kind of move to Jack, our member success expert. Lots of different titles for Jack. Jack, what are some common questions that you get from customers when they're trying to figure out, learn about the auction?
First one is, how do I get a list for auction?
Oh man, I'm glad you asked.
The number one question people ask.
The number one question. Man, how would somebody get a list of properties that have been scheduled for the upcoming auction?
We have them on our website, flsonline.com. Go in the top and hit order now, and where it's under the live foreclosure auctions.
Jackie, you sound like you're either look like you're reading it from a script or you've said this a couple of times.
Yeah, I have. And it is a couple clicks to get there. And then once you get it, and every county has a different price, and the prices change depending on if you are going 6 months, month to month, or 12 months. Once you get a list, to see that list, it doesn't get emailed to you. You go online, you log in that top left-hand corner, and those 3 horizontal bars you see on the screen. And once you're logged in, you go under products and then live foreclosure auctions, then hit search and view all. And that's how you see your list. You can download it then as a PDF, Excel, XLS, anything you want.
Awesome. So I'm just going to show me pulling up the Dallas County list for anybody that has questions about this. We can also show what the live auctions look like. So Dallas County, for example, we have 158 postings for the upcoming auction. You'll see in this next to last or second to next to last column, this is where we've got our live updates, right? So we'll see some of them. We just know that we're not going to have updates until auction because none of our normal trustees have claimed that. Typically, a commercial list is going to be like that. But here we've got a Fannie Mae loan in Balch Springs. It's still pending, so no change, still pending. It means we don't have an opening bid. The trustee hasn't provided us with that, but it is still active, right? So it hasn't been canceled, which means I would expect that if it doesn't get canceled today or tomorrow, that we should see it show up to auction, right? So we'll see these. We've got one that was canceled here, so don't go to 813 Clement. Don't drive that. See if we can find some opening bids.
That's
There
one.
we go.
Yeah.
All right. 914 Still Meadow Road. Yep. Opening bid of $157,000. So, that's either going to be the opening bid or the credit bid that the trustees provided us, it's an interesting one because the original bid or loan amount was $125,000. So, again, we see this sometimes. It means that there's a lot of fees or restructures that have been done there. So, awesome. So that is where we find that. Anything else that we should go over? I think we've kind of covered everything on this. I guess one thing to show while we're on the list is the just where you find the trustee. So we've got here Shelly Ortolani. So Shelly Ortolani, it most likely is going to be the trustee that is crying this auction. Now, a lot of times last minute trustees will switch postings and all that stuff. And so you might miss, it might be a different trustee.
But our team will help you out with
so
that.
our team will help you out with that. They'll tell you who might read for her instead. We've got here 10-1. That's the time. So a lot of people are like, why does it say October 1st or January 4th on your list? It's not the date. That's just going to be the time frame that the trustees have given to that they're going to show up. So legally on the posting, they have to give a 3-hour window. And that's going to be that 3 hour, that's 10-1 in this case. So we've got 10-1, Shelly Ortolani. A lot of trustees will not read the address, right? That's always throws people for a loop sometimes. So they get there, they're like, okay, I'm going to bid on 531 Dogwood. And they just, that's all they have. They haven't prepped the list. A lot of times trustees will read the legal description instead. So they'll say, all right, whereas on June 1st, 2004, George Anderson took out a loan for sometimes they say original amount, sometimes they don't say the name also, but they will say the legal description. So they'll say lot 10, block 3 of Wynwood Park Edition, and that's how you know. So, I would suggest sorting it by either last name or trustee or something like that. So I think that's all on that list that we need to go over.
I'm also a big fan of sorting by ID number.
Yeah.
Especially if you're at a county where you have our team,
Yep.
because they call out 13, you just scroll down to 13.
Yeah. And
so
what I would
sometimes
do,
you might have multiple,
so
multiple copies.
I would definitely, I bring multiple copies, right? I have one that's by legal. I have one by grantor's last name, one by ID, just because it depends on, what particular county, who the particular trustee is, how they're going to cry that. So again, reach out to Paul. He knows which auctions we have, how each of the teams coordinates it. Paul will be able to let you know, hey, if you go to Dallas, this is how they're going to conduct the auction, right? Most trustees will actually wait to cry an auction for our team members to be present so they can witness it. Again, Paul will be able to give you more information on that. So
that's right.
Whew, a long-winded answer to the first question of how do you get a list? I am passionate about our pre-foreclosure list, Jack.
That's right. The flagship
product.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to do spirit fingers or something, but I won't. All right, Jack, what's question number 2?
What do I need to do to pay for the property? Can I pay for it later? And do I pay some percentage down? And what does that look like on auction day?
Yeah. So, I have only this is just a side note. I've only been on properties in the state of Texas before. I was listening to our partners, Aaron and Muchastegi. He was on Bigger Pockets. He was talking about bidding in, I think it's, oh no, they were talking about bidding in Hawaii. Did you know in Hawaii, you put 10% down and you have 30 days to pay for the, yeah, I know. So you can get conventional finance. Anyways, that's, we're not talking about Hawaii, maybe one day, but in Texas, you have to pay for it right then. So as soon as the sale is concluded, most of the times the trustee will stop the sale and they'll bring you to the side and you'll give them your cashier's checks. Sometimes, they will wait till they're done with all of their postings, but most of the time, like auction.com is going to stop the sale. They're going to have somebody there that's just going to conduct it. Bigger trustees will typically have an assistant that will pull you to the side to at least verify that you have the checks. But cashier's checks in different denominations made out to you. Again, Paul can give you more information on that if you need help.
Mm-hmm.
Jack, do we have 3 questions?
As many as you want.
Give me the third most popular.
If I want to buy this before auction, do I need to contact the bank directly?
Yeah, another good question. No. So up until the auction, the bank does not own the property, right? It's just like if I was going to try to buy your property from you. Obviously, as of today, like time is of the essence. Where if I was going to try to go buy a property pre-foreclosure, or I had a homeowner call me back finally and say, yeah, I do want to sell to you. I'm contacting the trustee, the law firm, the bank. I'm trying to get payoff information. But you really don't do that until you have a power of attorney from the owner to talk to the trustees and talk to the bank. So you can buy it before, and you would just do it through the owner, just like a normal transaction. A lot of people might want to start trying to get ready for the October auction, and right now, and start reaching out to people to try to buy their properties before that October auction, because you probably can get this with normal financing at that point. Number 4.
That was 3 fingers.
Damn it. 4.
All right. Yeah. No. Number 4. I guess I wasn't prepared with 4. Let's just stick with 3.
Top 3. All right. We get 3 questions a lot. Other than that, we don't. All right. Anything else we should talk about, Paul or Jack, about the webinar? Anybody have questions? Put them in the comments below. We've got a lively crowd today. Let's see.
One guy was contacting me about an hour ago, and he wants to send some people to other auctions. And his question was, when they buy the property, can they put the property in my name?
Yes. So most trustees will not require, they're not going to ask you for a power of attorney, but when we send teams to different auctions, we will actually give them an instruction sheet and a power of attorney, a real estate power of attorney to conduct it, to essentially buy that property. So the instruction sheet they'll give it to the trustee. It says, when you buy this, buy it in the name of Curtis Roddy LLC. It needs to be vested like this. And then they will have a power of attorney that says, Jack Zagunis is authorized to bid for Curtis Roddy and conduct real estate transactions on September 1st. And so if you need examples of what those power of attorneys look like, or the instruction sheets, again, just reach out to Paul or Jack, and they'll be happy to provide that for you. We have a question from Ashraf. Which liens drop after winning and which ones stay? That should have been your 4th question, Jack. That's a great question.
Big one.
That is a big one. We get that a lot. Actually, I keep plugging Aaron and David Osborne's podcast when they were on Bigger Pockets. They talked for about 40 minutes about title and the liens, and there's probably a good section talking about this. So in general, senior liens stay and junior liens fall off. Then you have federal tax liens are going to stay on for 90 days. Typically, county ones will county tax liens, mow liens, that kind of stuff will stay. State taxes will fall off. UCC liens stay. So when we talk about senior and junior liens, typically like your FHA loan, that first purchase money loan that you get is going to be the senior lien. So if you look at when you're looking at the foreclosure list and you see the description, what type of loan it is, a lot of them say, if we know it, we'll put purchase money loan. So that's going to indicate that that's a purchase money loan, and that is going to be a senior lien. Now, liens like mechanics liens, trying to think of other types of liens that are junior. If you see a conventional lien, we'll actually say second lien, right? That's going to, if you're buying the first, the second will fall off. One thing to really make sure you're doing is to make sure that you know which lien you're buying. A lot of times, like I know in Collin County, we have a property in Indiana that's posted twice with 2 different liens. Make sure you're buying the same lien or the right lien. Right. So
listen for that instrument number.
Yeah. So before you buy that, make sure you're listening to the instrument number and that matches up with the first lien that you're looking for. So if you buy the first lien, that second lien will fall off. If you buy the second lien, the first will not, and you'll be responsible for that. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. A lot of people will buy, or not a lot. There's a niche of people that'll buy second liens, and then they will, because there's enough equity built up into that first lien. So if you have, hopefully that answers the question. If you have other questions, or if we need to provide additional color on that, again, feel free to reach out to us in the comments below.
And I'd also say that those more detailed loan codes are a new update to our service that we've brought in just over the past couple months.
Yeah.
Made our loan codes a lot more detailed. So it doesn't just say conventional, Fannie Mae, or FHA. It says purchase money mortgage, or it might say a number of different things. So we're being a lot more specific than we ever have been in the past.
Yep. So let's see. We've got a question from Kathy asking about the foreclosure moratorium and whether or not it got extended. It looks like there was something that came out like less than 5 hours ago about a foreclosure moratorium extension. We've seen several other things where people have said there was a moratorium extension, and that actually wasn't. So we want to look into that. We will actually make a Facebook post or send out an email later today or tomorrow about our opinion on that. Obviously, we're not attorneys, but we will want to read the entire actual federal order and come up with an opinion on that. So for now, it does look like there might be an extension through the end of the year, but it also could just be with FHA. It could be on posting. It just depends on what the language of that was. So we will get back to you, Kathy. Thank you for the question. Unfortunately, I don't want to give you the wrong answer right now, so we will make sure to get some information later. Jay is asking, what does a purchase money mortgage mean? Paul, you want to answer that?
So the purchase money mortgage, that is a type of mortgage when you first buy that property. It's generally going to be a superior or a first position lien. Those are considered some of the strongest liens to buy. And you can generally be pretty assured that that's in a good position. You might want to still run title, though. You still want to run title to make sure there's no judgments or other things, federal tax liens attached to that grantor or property. But a purchase money mortgage is a loan from when you first buy that property.
Awesome. And then can you talk a little bit about reverse mortgages and how the balance is affected on those?
So reverse mortgages are when generally they're taken out by older individuals, elderly individuals, and it's kind of like a line of credit. But when they take it out, what happens is that the grantor, the borrower, gets paid a certain amount of money each month that is against that property, against the house. And generally when they go into foreclosure, that's because that grantor probably lived longer than they expected, the bank expected them to. So it's gone beyond the date that they expected the loan would originally. Could you talk about how it is we calculate that, or ways that we could perhaps calculate those kinds of things? I know it's going to be pretty specific to each loan. Yeah, so each loan is going to be, it's really going to be specific to each loan. These reverse mortgages typically are set up pretty specifically to the end user. So we typically, that reverse mortgage, that foreclosure opening bid is going to be pretty close to the original loan amount, right? So it just depends on, but it could be amortizing normally. It just depends on each loan. Exactly. There you go.
Man, some great questions. Jack should have come up with some of those. But anyways, we only got 3. Yeah. So anyways, all right. I said we're going to keep it at 30 minutes. We're at 35 minutes. Any last thoughts?
Hit us up with questions if you got them. You got our emails. You can use the chat box at the bottom right of the website, or you can email paul@flsonline.com or jack@flsonline.com.
Inspiring words.
Good luck on Tuesday. Hope you get a lot of properties.
Don't sound too excited, Jack.
Stay
All right.
up.
Thanks.